It is officially game week for the 2025-26 regular season. So I'm going to do something I don't usually do. It's prediction time. The bold predictions I'm willing to make today on Locked On Magic.
You are Locked On Magic, your daily Orlando Magic podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
And you are indeed Locked On Magic. Today is October 20th, 2025. My name is Philip Rossreich. I'm the senior writer over at OrlandoMagicDaily.com, credentialed member of the Orlando Magic media since the 2012 season. On today's episode of Locked On Magic, it's time to make some predictions. It's time to go out on a little bit of a limb, something I'm usually not super comfortable doing, but I'm going to do it for you. What I think is going to happen in the 2025-2026 season for the Orlando Magic, who's going to be the breakout player, and bold statements for the season, all coming up here in just a moment. First, we want to thank you again for making Locked On Magic part of your day every day, no matter when you listen to us, whether it's first thing in the morning, whether it's right when we upload. We truly appreciate you making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. You can make Locked On Magic even bigger part of your day by being one of our Orlando Magic dailies. That means you listen 5 days a week. Get in the habit now. Preseason's over. No more training camp. We got games starting on Wednesday, and they're going to come fast and furious. We'll broadcast Wednesday somewhere from the Kia Center. I don't even know where. I'm not going to risk getting kicked out by the hockey game on Thursday again. But we'll broadcast right after the game, shortly, about an hour after the game. Have that up before midnight. Going to be a big season for the Orlando Magic, as we will discuss here in a minute. It's all part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. I am typically not one to make predictions. Let's see how it all plays out. Let's wait and see. Let's take a look at the facts, the data, and try and parse out what's happened in the past. I do not like getting freezing cold takes. You can find one of my favorite freezing cold takes about Mario Hezonja somewhere on the app. It's out there. You can find it. I'm not in the prediction business. Like that's not my job. My job is to take an experienced eye at what's going on and try to help you make sense of it. But obviously, we are at the precipice of a new season. We are at the beginning of this journey, and I want to take this journey together with you. I think that's the most important thing to remember. We are all on this journey together, and while the destination is interesting, we all hope it will be an NBA championship in the very near future. I want to stress this. The fun part of the NBA season is the journey, the things we learn along the way, the friends we make along the way, and what we learn in the process, because at the end of the day, only one team gets to lift the Larry O'Brien trophy. You hope it's your team, but more importantly, you hope your team is pointing in that direction. And if you get so obsessed with the results, not that results don't matter, they do, but if you get so obsessed with results, you lose the forest for the trees of why we watch these games and what this is. I want to make this abundantly clear. I do expect this team to do a lot of things. I'm going to make my official predictions. I'm going to, we'll write them down. We'll put them on a piece of paper. We'll do all those things. In fact, let me grab a piece of paper and I will write them all down. See, I got my, not that one. We'll do this one. I got my legal pad. I'll find a pen somewhere and we'll write down these predictions as we get it. See, I got my pen. You can hear it clicking if you're listening on the podcast. We'll write all these down and we'll revisit them later. I still have my post-it notes. So I want to make this clear. I do expect big things from the Magic. I do expect this team to point toward a championship, but I also want to make it clear a championship is a journey. Go listen to our friends at Locked On Nuggets. Go listen to our friends at Locked On Thunder. Go listen to Locked On Warriors, to Locked On Knicks, to Locked On Cavs. A championship is a journey. It takes failure. It takes speed bumps. It takes some rough moments where you question everything about yourself before you finally break through and win. And so before we dive into what I think is going to happen this year, I want to make this clear. This is a year where the Magic are going to learn a lot about themselves, where we're going to learn just what this team's potential could be And then the Magic will be forced to make some tough choices, to make some culture-defining choices, to understand why they lost and begin to think, well, how can we keep getting better? That's a big part of what this season's about. So again, the results tell us a little bit. The results matter. And they said, and what we're going to talk about today sets expectations, but this is truly about the journey. So let's get to prediction number one. Prediction number one. We're going to write it down on my notepad here. One circle. Prediction number one. The Magic are going to accomplish all the things we wanted them to accomplish last year. All the baseline stuff. The Magic are going to accomplish all the things we want them to accomplish last year. They will be a home court advantage team. They will get out of the first round. So they'll be a home court advantage team and win a playoff series. They will win the division for the third time. They did that last year, so maybe that's not as big of a goal. But the first thing that I want to say is I do believe in what this team is capable of. I do believe that they will hit that over. Hit that. We'll do the FanDuel ad read in a few segments from now. Hit that over. They will get above 50.5 wins. This will be the first 50-win team since Dwight Howard. This will be the first team out of the first round since Dwight Howard. The first home court advantage team since Dwight Howard. This is a team that is in the elite cusp of Orlando Magic teams. And as I've mentioned before, this is just the first year of it. This is just the first time that they will be any of these things. So we got Magic winning 50 games, at least. We got home court advantage, getting out of the playoffs, winning a playoff series. And there's a lot of stuff that comes with that. So prediction number 3 of the season. For the first time since 2009, the Orlando Magic will have 2 All-Stars. Both Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner will be named to the NBA All-Star team. Now, obviously, there is a different format this year. There is an easier way for Franz Wagner to get into the All-Star game. It is in the NBA's interest, considering Germany is a huge potential market for the NBA to get in. It is in the NBA's interest for Franz Wagner to be an All-Star. Both of these players will earn it. They won't have to weasel their way in. They won't have to back their way in. Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner will both be All-Stars this year. So we're going to write that down. Prediction number 3. Got to write that all down here. We got 3 predictions on the board already. The fact of the matter is, this is just what happens when you're a winning team. So all this ties together. When you're a winning team, you do all of these. You get these honors. These honors are given to teams that win. So Paolo and Franz will both be All-Stars. The Magic have only done that in 4 seasons, 1995, they obviously had Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway. Same in 1996. In 2001, the Magic actually got Tracy McGrady and Grant Hill as All-Stars. And then, of course, 2009, the only time in Magic history they had 3 All-Stars: Dwight Howard, Jameer Nelson, and Rashard Lewis. Jameer Nelson missed the game because of an injury. Again, just more sign that the Magic are among the elite teams in the league. And I'll go ahead and make this prediction number 4. Paolo Banchero is going to get the Rose Rule Max. Paolo Banchero will be an All-NBA player. So Paolo, All-NBA. Again, we're writing this down. If you're watching on YouTube, you won't be able to see it because it's on a yellow piece of paper. These are my Magic predictions for the 2026 season. Again, all of this is tied into winning. The Magic are going to be a winning team. The Magic are going to be a team that demands excellence, that demands attention. We're going to see them on national TV a lot more. They're going to be, again, we'll put this on my prediction list. The Magic are going to finish 3rd in the East. I do believe the Magic will finish 3rd in the East. I do believe they will win 50 games. I do believe they will advance out of the first round. But I'll go one step further. The Magic may finish 3rd in the East, but they will be in the fight for the 1 seed until the very end of the season, until the last few weeks of the season, if not the last week of the season. That's how good I think this Magic team can be. And it's all because of the talent level that they have and the changes that they made. So, if Paolo and Franz are so great, what else will it take for the Magic to get to this level? We're going to make some more predictions and some more calls coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at Monarch Money. Let's be honest, most of us can't even name all our financial accounts, let alone what they're worth. Between 401ks, savings, and investments, it's easy to lose track, and that can mean leaving money on the table. That's why I started using Monarch, an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch helps you organize your accounts, track your spending, and get a better handle on your investments without having to touch those dastardly spreadsheets. You can review everything with your partner, see your shared goals, and make better financial decisions. Their visual dashboards and smart tools make it so much easier to understand where your money's going and how to make it work harder for you. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarch.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarch.com, code Locked On NBA for half off your first year. I told you it was coming, but today's episode of Locked On Magic is also brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you do not want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. With FanDuel, there's so many exciting ways to play, whether you're looking to build parlays, try player props, or even follow the live lines during games. Us NBA people love the NFL. NFL's great. Us NBA people, this is our week. This is your chance to get in on the action. NBA futures are up. I don't know how much longer they'll be up, but you can bet on who's going to win Coach of the Year. Jamal Mosley's the betting favorite there. Paolo and Banchero, last I checked, was plus 10,000 to win MVP. I said he's going to be on an all-NBA team. That makes him one of the top 15 players in the league. This is your chance to get in on the ground floor before it becomes clear, like, oh no, Paolo's not just an all-NBA guy. He's going to be an MVP guy. You can even get in on opening night action. The Magic are favored by 8.5 points over the Miami Heat on opening night on Wednesday. FanDuel is the place to check everything out, whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats. FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So, what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. So we talked a little bit about what it's going to take to get where the Magic want to go. So, I got my 50 wins. I got Paolo and Franz All-Star. I got Paolo All-NBA. I had one there that I missed. Magic will compete till the end of the season. Magic compete for top seed into last week. There we go. That's going to be on my prediction list. We're going to see how that does. I'm left-handed. I should probably put this on my left side. So we're going to move this over here so I can write a little bit easier and not lose time here. What it's going to take to get there? It's not just about your stars. So, we'll give the stars some love. Stars are doing great. We love Paolo and Franz. That's obviously going to take more than that. So I want to talk about who's going to be the breakout player. But first, the easy prediction. We're going to put it on paper. We're just going to say it out loud. The streak ends this season. The streak of offensive ineptitude. The streak of terrible offense that this Orlando Magic team has played for a dozen years now, for the last 12 years, 13 years now. Sorry, Baker's dozen years. It ends this year. The Orlando Magic will not be a bottom 10 offense. In fact, let me go ahead and say this. Let me go ahead and just say it. I'm feeling wild tonight. I'm hopped up on NyQuil. I'm feeling a little under the weather. Allergies for my dogs. Whatever. I'm a little crazy today. The Magic are going to finish with a top half offense. That's right. I said it. Put it on paper. Freezing cold take me later when I'm absolutely wrong. The Magic are going to be a top half offense. Now, I say this with a lot of confidence because of what we saw in the preseason. Now, the Magic finished the preseason with the third best offense in the entire NBA. And that includes the teams that traveled from overseas to play NBA preseason games. So prediction number 6, Magic have top half offense. There we go. We'll double check. We'll circle back on these at midseason. But I'm not just saying this like hat out of hand. Like I am saying this because there's this confidence that the Magic showed us something offensively in the preseason. Again, preseason is what preseason is. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. But I really think that the pace the Magic played at, the spacing that they've gained from Desmond Bane, and we haven't seen Desmond Bane at full strength, what Jalen Suggs is going to bring to the team, Paolo and Franz taking another step forward. I think that this offense is going to be competent. I'm not here saying they're going to be the best offense in the league. I think there's still going to be moments where they look like they did last year, where the ball struggles to move a little bit, where they get stuck in the mud a little bit, where Paolo's taking some tough shots. I'm not saying to say Paolo's going to all of a sudden have the efficiency that all of his critics want him to have. He'll be better, but I don't know if he'll be a 60% true shooting percentage guy. I think he'll probably settle at 56, 57% true shooting percentage. Franz probably going to settle in at somewhere in the low 30s. I'm going to write all these down. So Paolo, sorry, I'm going to write these down. I'm keeping track of these. 57, 58% TS percentage. Franz going to settle in. I'm going to go and give Franz 33% three-point shooting. Let's say he'll probably settle in around 33% three-point shooting. I think the Magic are going to probably take a small step back defensively. I think they'll still be top 5, but it'll probably be closer to 5-6 than 4-3. So small step back defensively. Just because they're increasing their pace. I think that's a big thing, but they'll be ready for the playoffs. Like they know that defense will be there in the playoffs. And so I think the offense does have some juice. And I think that for the most part, like there may be some rough moments. Injuries will I think injuries could hit this team a lot harder. I don't love the offensive depth on this team. I think they're going to lean very heavily on their top guys, but I do think that they'll be a top half offense. I'll go ahead and say it. I think they will be in the top half of the league in offensive rating. To do that, they're going to need a little bit more, obviously, than just Paolo and Franz. And look, I'm a big believer in Jalen Suggs and Desmond Bane as the kind of shooters the Magic need. I'm increasingly more of a believer in Desmond Bane as the kind of secondary playmaker or even primary playmaker that the Magic need to support Paolo and Franz and make their lives that much easier. But it's going to take a little bit more than that. And so who's going to be the breakout player this season? Now, I think you could tell which direction I want to go. Like, I'm a Wendell Carter guy. I believe Wendell Carter is going to have a very, very good season. I believe that Wendell Carter is a lot better than he's shown us, and he's looked a lot healthier. But I think, honestly, the breakout player of this season is not Anthony Black. I think a lot of people want it to be Anthony Black. I think AB is better, but I'm not sold on his offensive leap. I think the breakout player for the Magic is going to be Tristan Da Silva. I think Tristan Da Silva is going to have a humongous season. I think that what he did at Eurobasket's what he's going to do for the Magic. And that was obviously so crucial to Germany winning Eurobasket and Germany taking that leap. So we're going to go TDS breakout player. That's not something measurable, but we'll assess that when we get to the end of the season. I really do think that Tristan Da Silva, it's going to carry over. Carried over in preseason. It really feels like it's going to carry over, and he's going to have this really, really strong sophomore season. So I'm very excited about what we'll see from Tristan Da Silva. Honestly, like kind of one of my wilder predictions of the year. I really liked what we saw from Jace Richardson. I think that guy plays hard. The shooting and offense is there. I am willing to say this. I think by the trade deadline, Jace Richardson will be in the rotation. He'll start in the rotation because of Jalen Suggs' injury. But I think by the time we get to the trade deadline, he's going to make Tyus Jones look a little expendable. And look, some of it is like when we get to trade deadline season, when we get to trade season, Magic might be looking to cut some salary. The Magic might be looking, hey, how can we free up some time for guys that we want? They might have an Anthony Black decision to make. They'll have a Goga Batadze decision to make. Tyus Jones could be the kind of player that greases the wheel for a trade, and the Magic have a perfectly capable and functional backup point guard or backup wing that they can slot into what they want to do, who's going to compete on defense and be effective right there in Jace Richardson. So I think Jace will be in the rotation by the trade deadline, by the All-Star break. So I am not expecting like an all rookie season from Jace. I don't think he'll play enough for that. But I am expecting a guy who is going to be very hard to keep off the floor. Again, we saw him during preseason. We saw him during summer league. He does a lot of things that this Magic really need. So definitely someone to watch out for. And again, a little position battle to be aware of. What other bold statements do I have for the season? What else should we expect from the Orlando Magic? And by the way, I want your bold statements. Put them in the comments. Get in the comments below, as our friend Brendan Lee, I don't know, he's not my friend, but as Brendan Lee Mulligan would say, get in the comments, kids. Let me know what your bold predictions are. We'll compile them. We'll put them on the list. We'll get them all out there. Give me your bold predictions as well. We'll talk more bold statements for the upcoming season. We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at Peloton. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. It's their most advanced equipment yet, designed to give you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or cross-training with your favorite instructors. This is training reimagined. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools that help you plan, stay motivated, and reach peak performance. Peloton IQ offers real-time strength coaching. It actually tracks your reps, suggests the right weights, and corrects your form, making every rep safer and smarter. That's something I know I need. I need guidance. Just never really learned how to lift weights. Very intimidating. Anything that makes it easier is so much better. With their Silver Screen, it's a complete game changer. You can go from running on the tread to strength training without missing a beat by just turning the screen around. It's really simple. And the personalized class recommendations keep you engaged. You get workouts tailored to your vibe and energy levels each week. I'm trying to do the Taylor Swift because I'm all about the vibes. So let yourself run, lift, flex, and push forward. Explore the new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus today at onepeloton.com. Today's episode of Locked On Magic is also brought to you by Game Time. Basketball season is officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's be real, getting tickets can be a total headache, especially when they're as hot as the Orlando Magic might be. Between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout, it's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team. That's where Game Time comes in, the app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring all amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. I went to a concert this summer to see Modest Mouse, one of my absolute favorite bands. Didn't like the prices on Ticketmaster. I popped into Game Time. Probably shouldn't mention them by name, but I didn't like the venue specific prices for the venue that the venue was offering. Jumped onto Game Time, found cheap tickets. They're all general seating because it's a House of Blues. But found general seating at the price that I wanted. Got to go see the show. They put on a fantastic show. Played a lot of songs I hadn't heard before. They're doing some off the wall stuff. Played a song that I did not think they performed live. It was amazing. They played two songs, actually, that I did not think they performed live. I was so gassed up. Fans around me were going crazy for it. It was a fantastic evening. So anytime I need to go see a show, go to a game, go to a concert, Game Time is my ticket. I swear by it. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONNBA, LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. I have one big, bold statement I'm ready to make. I have one big, bold statement that I am wholeheartedly believing in. I'm not sure if it's going to happen. It's something that's hard to predict, but I am a believer. You ready? I think the Orlando Magic will play for an NBA trophy this season. I think the Orlando Magic will have the chance to win a league-wide trophy, to win their first ever league-wide team trophy. I think the Orlando Magic will be in Las Vegas for the NBA Cup final. Thought I was going to say Larry O'Brien trophy. I'm not quite there yet. I think the Magic do have a puncher's chance of getting to the NBA finals. But ever since the NBA Cup was invented, the Orlando Magic have been one of the best NBA Cup teams. They have just 2 losses in group play over 2 years. They advanced to the quarterfinals last year, losing to the Milwaukee Bucks, undermanned in Milwaukee, one of the best games of the season that the Magic played, even though they lost. Just a gutsy performance. I believe the Magic will get over the hump this year, and they will be in Las Vegas to play for the NBA Cup. None of this Boston Portland stuff that Kevin Pelton was talking about on that one sim that he ran. No, I believe the Orlando Magic will represent the Eastern Conference in the NBA Cup final. Now, getting there is going to be tricky. Magic have a fairly difficult group. The Philadelphia 76ers appear to have Joel Embiid and Paul George back. Appears they will both play on opening night. Certainly Joel Embiid will play on opening night. Magic see them next Monday. So we will see perhaps fully operational battle station in Philadelphia here in about a week, in 1 week, actually. We will see them, and they'll have to play them again later on. The Detroit Pistons are probably the second best team in the group. That's going to be a huge rivalry game. Again, we will see Detroit next week as well. So we'll get two good looks at NBA Cup opponents before we face them in the big game that matters. Now, I don't know how the rest of the league feels about the NBA Cup. I'm sure your mileage goes different with the NBA Cup. I'm sure every team has a different approach and thought process. I've always believed the NBA Cup to be great for young teams trying to make a statement. And the Orlando Magic in the last 2 years have been a young team trying to make a statement. In fact, I still think the Magic's Black Friday win over the Boston Celtics, the fact that they had that 32-point lead going into the final game or going into that final day of NBA Cup action, again, 2 years ago, that was their statement of intent. That was the Magic saying, we are here and we are a team to mess with. Even though they didn't advance because Boston just thrashed the Bulls in that final game, they made it clear that they were here to stay. And honestly, they took the lessons from the NBA Cup that first year when they dropped that game to Brooklyn. Surprisingly, they didn't take it seriously. They took that lesson last year and they rampaged through those first two games of NBA Cup action, first 3 games of NBA Cup action before they ran into the New York Knicks while they were undermanned without Paolo Banchero. And they got some humble pie. But they showed, and Jamal Mosley has shown in his 2 years, that he cares about this tournament, that this tournament means something. And so I think that the Magic care about this thing. Whether you like it or not, the Magic go for it. You put a trophy in front of these guys, they go for it. And so I think the Magic will once again represent well. I think that they'll probably go 4-1 in NBA Cup action. The Magic also play the Celtics in their NBA Cup group, and the Celtics will be interesting. I don't know how good Boston's going to be, but they'll be interesting early in the season. Again, it's happening early enough in the season that everybody has a little bit of hope. Even Charlotte, Charlotte and Brooklyn, who they'll also play in their NBA Cup games. No, just Charlotte. Sorry, just not Brooklyn. I think that the Magic though will be able to navigate this, and I think that they'll go 4-0 or they'll go 3-1 and give themselves a chance to advance. And once you advance, anything can happen. I would absolutely love to see the Magic host an NBA Cup game. We know how good the Kia Center crowd is for playoff level games. I think people will buy into it when it's clear, like, oh, we have a chance to win this thing. Like Milwaukee's won championships. They bought into the NBA Cup. It became a thing for them. They were angry that they didn't win it to win it the first time. They came back and wanted it. They wanted it last year. It meant something to them. And I know there's a bit of an NBA Cup curse. The Lakers didn't have a great finish to their season. Milwaukee didn't have a great finish to their season. The NBA Cup has not yet been won by a real contender. The Thunder lost it last year. Was that motivation? I don't know. But I do think the Magic are a team that likes this tournament. They think it's valuable. They put emphasis on it. They execute and they play well in this tournament. And I think this is a year where the Magic give themselves a chance. And look, it's a small thing. I'm not here saying that this is the end all be all. I think the goal should still be get to the first round, get to the conference finals. That is far bigger of an accomplishment and a more meaningful accomplishment. But representing the Eastern Conference in anything, competing for a trophy, something that you do hang a banner for and should hang a banner for. It is a competition that you win over everybody else in the league. I think the Magic are in a spot where they are going to be in the running for that. Like I said, I want your big statements. What are your bold statements for the NBA season, for the Magic season? What do you think the Magic will accomplish that you're willing to put your name behind that others may not? I think most of my predictions, like I said, I'm not much in the prediction business. I don't like them. But I think most of my predictions are pretty straightforward. My NBA Cup one might be the boldest. The Jace Richardson one certainly pretty bold too. But I think that I do think that I want to know what you think. I do think that the Magic will have a season where they will accomplish some bold things, and ultimately, like that's the point I'm trying to make today. Like I'm trying to fill some time, trying to predict the season a little bit. I'll share my predictions for the entire season up on my Patreon page in my newsletter on Monday. But I really think, and I truly think, the Magic are in for a season where they accomplish a lot. I truly think the Magic are in for a season where they do some big things, some things that will resonate. And like I said last week, the goal for the Magic is to point in the direction of a championship. The expectations, the measure of success, which is hardly a measure, it's not something we could particularly measure, but the Magic will exit this season saying, we are one or two steps away from being a championship level team, from being a championship contender. And not just saying it, but actually being one. And everyone around the league knowing, like, no, this Magic team is a serious threat. They are for real. That's what the Magic will be this year. And if the Magic accomplish even, I got 12, if the Magic accomplish half of the things that I talk about today, they're going to be well on their way to doing that. It is a big season. It is a season for bold things. It is a season for big accomplishments. It is a season for dreaming big and believing what this team can do. It's going to be a fun one. And we are just 2 days away now. Two more sleeps from this thing tipping off Wednesday against the Miami Heat. But that's going to do it for me today. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. Of course, find me on Twitter at PhilipRR_OMD and on Blue Sky at PhilipRR. You can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Himmel, Google Play, Spotify, Odyssey, and all the fun ways you download podcasts to your podcast-enabled listening device. For the latest on the Orlando Magic, you can also check us out on YouTube, by searching for Locked On Magic. For the latest on the Orlando Magic, including more on these predictions, you can find it at OrlandoMagicDaily.com. Check us out as well on Twitter at OMagicDaily. And for even more Orlando Magic content, including my official NBA predictions, which I'll be working on tomorrow, you can check out my newsletter at patreon.com/Orlando Magic Hub. Again, that's patreon.com/Orlando Magic Hub. As always, thank you for your support. Now that you're done making Locked On Magic your first listen of the day, go make your second listen Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Josh Lloyd hosts the #1 fantasy basketball podcast, giving you daily tips and helping you win your league, all while making you a smarter NBA fan. Find Locked On Fantasy Basketball on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And I will certainly be listening before my fantasy draft tomorrow on Monday, because I want to do better this year than I did last year. I did okay. I was like middle of the peloton, like toward the back, but I think I'll do better this year in my group of other NBA writers that do a fantasy basketball league. So we'll check that out tomorrow. But that's going to do it for me today. On tomorrow's episode of Locked On Magic, we will begin to preview the Orlando Magic season as well as the opening night game. We'll chat with Locked On Heat on tomorrow's episode of Locked On Magic. But until then, for Orlando Magic Daily and Locked On Magic, this has been Philip Rossman-Reich. We'll see you all again next time for another episode of Locked On